Good evening, everybody. And I have been lucky enough to, get a peek into that report already. And today we have with us some of those who've contributed to that report. So we'll have from them, so that if you missed scanning that QR code, then they are here to give you some highlights right now about using AI in the real world, their experiences, learnings, and what you can do with generative AI and AI in your companies and your marketing, plans that you have for the years ahead. So, Chandan, I want to come to you. In your write-up in the report, you mentioned about using AI for that spark. And I think a lot of us have been using generative AI for inspiration. And I want you to elaborate on how Nestle has been using AI, what in specific you are using perhaps, and where you are implementing this inspiration, where it takes you from there.
Well, thank you for that question. And we live, of course, in a very dynamic world with a lot of AI around us. The whole day we have been talking about AI and its different facets. The way we look at, AI is that we look at it in kind of, all through the entire journey. We look at it in terms of generating brand knowledge. Now, you might say, where does brand knowledge come from in AI terms? You can put together all your different pieces of understanding, and it often gives you a good headroom to understand what your brand is about, what are consumers talking about it, what kind of learnings do you have from the past, and so on and so forth. And we have, because there is a lot of privacy and confidentiality around brand knowledge and stuff like that, we have our own GPD called an SGPD, where we put in all our own stuff so that it's all secluded and it's all, well sort of spaced in a particular space. And there you can, in a matter of few minutes, generate a lot of understanding and put it together. Is it going to replace human understanding? No, but it's going to give you that little spark, that little, new thing put together in a certain way, in a very productive way, in a very time-efficient way, in a nice way where it could join different dots. And of course, this is going to learn and it's going to improve and it's going to sharpen over a period of time. Similarly, when you're looking at content, you look for inspiration on developing content. For example, for one of our brands, Nescafe, we look at monsoon as a very important, sort of period in time where people would like to have a cup of coffee. And if, you imagine the Mumbai monsoons, it's a nice time to have a nice cup of coffee. Now, you could, of course, use generative AI to think about what could I think about the monsoon. And the nice little sparks and little cues. Is all of it new? Is all of this out of the box? Is all of this out of the park? Maybe not, but some of them are. And some of them could trigger newer thoughts to think about. And to spark their creativity, you could do storyboarding on using AI and so on and so forth. And it just leads from one to the other. Similarly, in terms of engagement, optimization. So we look at it across the entire chain, whether it's content, whether it's knowledge, whether it's content, whether it's media, whether it's engagement. And all of them have different elements that you could think about.
So on the OpenAI, the ChatGPT 4 model, you have built the Nestle, you have taught it all your codes and your brand language, all of that. So from that it learns and it's able to, so when you say, I have a question and this is what I want, I have a monsoon campaign coming up, give me an idea, it tells you what to do.
Yes, so we do use OpenAI and completely open sources, understanding the monsoon. Everybody can understand anything about the monsoon, so there's nothing specific about it. But then if you're looking at more specific proprietary knowledge or your understanding or bits around different functions as well, like supply chain or production and others. There we have a little bit of a closed, GPT understanding. We draw upon LLM models from the outside, but we also have, our own sort of more configured system where we access some of the stuff that includes some of the brand understanding as well. Now, of course, it's fast evolving. So, AI learns from the past, and like was presented in one of the presentations earlier today, in the next 5 years, we are going to have it 3,000 or 5,000 times better than what it is today. So it's that kind of a multiplier in which it's fast evolving and fast dynamic and fast moving.
taking it from there, Dhruv, I want to bring you in. He spoke about content and insights and all of that, but also from the full funnel marketing point of view, does generative AI have applications? What is it that Disney Hotstar is,
No, I'll actually, firstly, congratulations to Monica and GroupM on this amazing launch. I think more than anything else, the first thing that caught my attention, you made us look younger and prettier with those Gen AI, handsomer as the case may be, with those mug shots of ours. So I still have to read the report, but no, congratulations again on the great launch. I'll actually take a step back, right, and actually take that leaf of her note on what is that type of data that we actually throw in. And in the way I looked at the full funnel is, let's understand what it is really today. So you've got your awareness, you've got consideration, and you've got sales or intention to purchase. But the three other factors that make this a nice grid is to look at creative, is to look at how you're using media or planning, and then finally measurement. And AI has a role to play in all these 9 buckets, right? So if you think of it in the creative, and today a lot of it is spoken about creative because, and again, of course, as the data sets keep getting richer and better, you do see optimization play a role. Measurement is still a lot to be desired, as it's still fairly broken. And I think in Mumbai, a lot of cross-media measurement was spoken about as well. But just focusing on, for instance, in the way we look at it, and all marketers should potentially, is how do you look at creative for upper funnel versus consideration? And consideration really is about first party, zero party. So do you understand your consumers better? Is there propensity models that you're building in to engage with them in a much better way? And yes, we've worked with even D2C players, and Nestle has its own, and a bunch of other players have their own. Allows you more data to understand your consumers better. So how are you tweaking your creative in that bucket? And of course, in the upper funnel side of things, you always have enough and more ways of looking at very basic things like just how deeper can you get on language, right? Today, the understanding of how my consumer across this diverse country responds to language itself is such a deep insight that I think a lot of people have taken their own time to get through that journey as well. So to me, it's really about these 9 buckets and how is AI going to play. Today, it's playing in a few, a lot stronger than the rest. Again, bottom funnel, I think a lot of that work happens with performance marketing. But again, measurement on upper and consideration is still a lot to be desired. So I'd like everyone in the room to potentially look at it because it's the way I'm looking at how AI can potentially help marketeers as well as ourselves when we think about building products around it.
Got it. Monica, if I can come to you, you have written about how the ingredients that go into it matter. And if you could elaborate on that, are ingredients that are going into draw insights what we are teaching the AI models today? You need to have really good data because if you don't, then you could extrapolate to anything, right? So if you could elaborate on the data that we have today that marketers are using to train AI models and where the gaps are?
Sure. So the reason why I bring that up is because I think we're all jumping an important step. We're all talking about how do you use AI, but we're forgetting about AI readiness, right? And for AI readiness, the key step is to be data ready. And to be data ready, it begins by organizing your data well. It means collecting it rightly across touch points. It means building data capabilities to segment it rightly and to sort of put it in the right bucket. So like when Chandan was talking about, how based on weather there's messaging and, on a rainy day. So all of that is only possible if you've segmented your data well. If you've not segmented your data well, even if AI is as superior as it is, it cannot offer you the benefit it should be offering you. So that's the whole point of mentioning that if you have bad ingredients in your kitchen, you can never have a good dish come out of it, because if you have bad data, it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you have bad data, the output will not be what you're looking for. So that's essentially what I mean by that. And hence, I think the more we focus on getting AI ready, the more we'll be able to appreciate what it has to offer.
Got it. Thank you. Prateek, I want to come to you. You've written, about using, ethics in using AI, and also, standardizing, improving packaging nomenclature, and identifying ingredients, formulations, etc. So can you share some examples on how your organization is using AI right now?
Sure. Uh, if I, just building on to how Dhruv was saying, I think all of us as organizations are at different phases when it comes to AI understanding and AI implementation. So if I talk about House of Masaba, which is a designer label or a designer house, there are certain themes we have caught on early, which is in the realm of understanding how packaging can be improved without taking away the craftsmanship that comes with a designer, but strengthening it using AI. If I have to give you an example, so we have beauty line as well as fashion line. And let's say if we are trying to build a new lipstick, and at the outset we agree that we want to get inspired with French art, as an example. Where AI is very, very useful is in doing this basic research for us. Doing a research on French art over the last 2 centuries. These two, France and Italy anyway, are evolved as far as these 2 sectors are concerned, and give us a quick and dirty version 1, which normally for a brand manager or a product development manager would have taken a hell lot of a time, and the accuracy and the how messy that would be is also questionable. Now, we are taking it one step further, where we are now saying, once the research is done, can you create a prototype as well? And the early reads seem to be interesting. We are also able to generate prototype, which acts as a solid input to the actual designer or the actual team, which is then going to take it forward to a final, as we call, finished good. So that's one aspect, which is packaging. On the product formulation, a lot of D2C companies, not just us, I would say have been building their own custom solution for a while now, because you know over the years of your existence the kind of ingredients that are working for you. Consumers are warming up to you, let's say, for certain Indian ingredients or certain exotic ingredients. Now, using that internal information and also trending ingredients in the world or in the other developed markets, different brands were already using a combination of internal data and external data to decide their next pipeline of products. So that continues to happen. So that's where product and packaging, we are sort of bringing it together with AI.
So it's a lot what Chandan was saying about, taking inspiration.
Yeah, and just to sort of not stop there, being a young, lean organization and bandwidth always being a challenge, we also asked the AI that, can you now give me a launch plan?
Okay.
Can you help? The social
and
grade.
How good is it at it?
It's a good version 1. The social grade, the A+ content, the A+ content requirement on each marketplace is also different, as we know. And the output is fairly decent.
Okay.
Again,
will you put maps out of business?
Yeah, it's incredible as to what it can do, and we will have to keep training the AI, is what I'm telling my team. And who knows, they can take away some of our go-to-market responsibilities as well in the coming days. So to build on to Dhruv's funnel, I think the product, packaging, and content part, we are already sort of dabbling. Now, next time, maybe in a year, I'll be able to update you as to what happened with the rest of the funnel.
We look forward to that one, the next, the next edition. Pradyuman, I want to come to you. A lot of the conversations we've had so far are very digital-led. Everything that you take inspiration to do something online and data, all of that. But you at HP have been using it even in offline conversations. If you can tell us how you've been using AI.
Sure. So just to give you everybody a context about how do we use our AI in HP for offline is, we currently sell about 180 odd technical SKUs in offline stores through HP Worlds, through LFRs, through multi-branded outlets, etc., etc. These are sold by about 1,700 odd in-store promoters or in-store representatives. Now, to expect a warm-bodied representative to know everything is a challenge. Second, these people, because they are spread across India, they understand the content better if it's in their vernac language. Now, if you marry these 2 points, and for us product marketeers in HP, it's very difficult to keep churning out content after content in vernac languages for all 180 SKUs. Just take, for example, 10 top languages of India also. We are talking about 1800 odd technical content to be generated for these people. Hence, what we have done is very similar to what Chandan and Prateek just spoke. We have actually layered and fine-tuned OpenAI, a sandbox version of OpenAI ChatGPT with our product and our brand value propositions. Now, this tool has been embedded into the workflow of the copy team. Whenever a request goes, the copy team uses this to generate content in a format and a language that the warm body in-store representative is able to understand well. Now, the question that whatever content that comes out, is it readily usable? Absolutely no. After the content comes out, it goes to our product trainers who actually screens the content, sees if it is right or wrong, and then only the final value delivery to a customer happens. So if you see, the problem that we had in hand was these people don't understand the content if it's in English. Product marketeers had a problem, hey, I can't create content in all languages. Hence, this AI is able to solve for that business problem in the offline space for HP.
Got it. And Maps, I want to come to you. You know, he said very important point he mentioned is you can't use it directly. Whatever is generated, you cannot use that directly. And I know you have some thoughts about using whatever that comes right out of a generative AI model into plugging it right into marketing or advertising. If you could elaborate.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has been covered by what Chandan, Dhruv, even Monica mentioned, and what you said. See, I think very often in AI, the tendency is to go for the icing and the cherry and not about the cake itself and what is the ingredient, right? Like Monica mentioned, it's about the core data that goes into it. And what we are finding is that models have to be grounded, in the data which is most relevant. Like they say, what is it exactly that this brand stands for? That data, that learning on what the brand stands for, the brand key, the brand pyramid, call it what you like. And what is the kind of assets that make sense for the brand. You have to ground that first. That, along with what's available in the larger ecosystem, is what makes for these very, very kind of powerful models. And the second thing which I think AI needs to really pick on our past experiences, what are those signals that are meaningful to my consumer when it comes to changing perception, when it comes to driving purchase, right? So the combination of what the brand stands for and what are those ignition signals which are relevant for the consumers, when those two come together, then the AI model is able to really create magic and say, look, this content is not right for this brand, whereas this content is right for this brand in this context, in this market. So I think that's the grounding which we have to create for those models.
Got it. Thank you. We have just about 6-7 minutes, and I want to come to each of you. I think both Prateek and Maps have directed me that way, so I want to bring that to you. 1 year from now, if we were to have this conversation again about how you're using AI, where do you think it would have reached? I mean, so if you could, go into what are gaps right now that you would want it to bridge in the next 1 year? Because one of the presentations today said, AI is developing at an exponential rate. It's some 5 to 10x in a year. So in each of the domains that you're using AI, in a year from now, where do you expect things to be?
Well, I think AI will definitely become much sharper in all the elements that it is supposed to work on. Where we look at from our perspective, whether it's knowledge or inspiration or content or media or engagement, I think our WhatsApp bots or other kind of bots and various things on engagement might get much sharper with more signals coming in. Our content generation might get more sharper with more creative legs coming in. But I think what's going to be important is that the data needs to be correct, like was being said, and the data needs to learn on what really matters. So if that gets sharper, I think we are going to see phenomenal speed on all different aspects of AI usage.
Dhruv, what
Yeah,
about
I
you?
think on a lighter note, in the last 1 hour with the report launch, now if we go to ChatGPT and ask it to give a summary, there's more data out there, right? Yeah, so exactly, all of us have spoken about so many things that itself calls for what we don't get. I think I love the way Chandan mentioned earlier that what we don't even know 3,000, 5,000 times X is the impact that this will have, and this time span is also unknown. I think the way, at least from the media content space, the way we look at it, there's so many moments that we see today out there in any piece of content, and how brands, advertisers, agencies can actually work with some of that and make their messaging a lot more meaningful. The space is just scratching the surface on that. And there is some work globally that Disney is doing, as well as we are locally piloting a few things, and we see that definitely pick up a lot of pace and make it very relevant for in-show integrations, as well as what you can do alongside in terms of surround. So I'm very excited to see how that pans out.
Monica, how about you? I mean, putting the report together, already you said, took a year, and I'm sure things developed a lot in that 1 year. So sitting today, where do you think 1 year from now the conversation would be?
Okay, so I think right now we are at a stage where we're seeing it very horizontally, yeah? And we're like, just kind of spraying and praying, various ways of using AI. What's going to very quickly start happening is two things, okay? One, that we're going to go more vertical with AI, where we're going to really explore deeply business use cases, more in context of customer experience, measurement, content, and audience segmentation. So these are 4 verticals which will go way deeper with AI, and which will really, really refine and sharpen the way marketing strategy, marketing campaigns are being structured. So that's definitely one big change that one is going to see, right? But the change that we are talking about will still never take away the importance of something I'd like to call tacit knowledge, right? Tacit knowledge will always sit with us, with human beings. And just to bring alive what tacit knowledge means, tacit knowledge is basically subjective understanding, which only rests with us as individuals, where what probably Dhruv will bring with his experience, with his context, with his empathy level, will be very different from what all of us will bring on the panel. So that is always going to be valuable and important, and all the more because we're the ones who have to train the engine.
Absolutely.
So it's our tacit touch to it which will train it more and more accurately, and which will always need us to keep refining it.
And so we have to constantly evolve, learn,
Yes.
so that we can teach the
Absolutely.
machine something new.
Yes.
Prateek, what might you want it to teach it in the next 1 year?
I think if I speak for the marketing and business fraternity, one theme I would like to sort of solve for is AI for aiding full funnel profitability. I think as a marketer or as a business leader, one of our largest cost pools are what we spend on lower funnel and top funnel. And we all know today that there is a certain percentage of wasteful spend which we usually don't know. And we follow the Byron Sharp reach principle, right? If AI can even help us improve profitability by a few percentages, the adoption across industries will be wider and faster, I feel. To give one example, today, as a young brand, I spend a lot on the lower funnel led with performance marketing. If I am imagining a future 6 months down where I can have a better set of more hardworking creatives, I provide my brand guidelines, I know the kind of trending content my audience or lookalike audience is watching, I upload the products that I want to promote. What if I get better, sharper, hardworking creatives, which improves my ROAS, which reduces wasteful spends, and I'm able to use the same dollar for more stuff. So I feel that's where AI can help the human intelligence, not taking away from us, the people who finally take the call, but that would really help everybody, I feel.
Got it. Let's hope. What about you, Pradyuman?
So 1 year from now, I think how AI will evolve is that this conversation that possibly us marketeers only are having around AI is going to go beyond, and it needs to go beyond, and to some extent the onus resides on us. Why?
Beyond where?
Beyond the marketing function of any organization. supply chain, finance, their data, there is a lot of places where AI can support. But today when I see around, at least in my vicinity, it is the marketeers who have taken this leap. I believe now it's the onus on us to ensure the other business function also sees value. And when will that happen? As Prateek said, when we are able to give the profit back to the organization. So that's what I feel after 1 year the world looks
Good,
like.
beautifully put. Maps?
Kind of echoing what Pradyuman said. I think right now we are like when you start learning how to drive a car, no, you're looking for that indicator, looking for the clutch, brake, accelerator. I'm hoping that 1 year down the line, you'll drive like you drive normally on the road, and AI will become a part of your regular life for everyone at GroupM. And whether it's inciting, whether it's planning, whether it's execution, whether it's measurement, content creation, it just comes naturally. That is my dream state for 1 year from now.
Okay, cool. And it says time's up. I have learned a lot, and I hope that gave everybody here a little sneak peek into what's in store in the report. So I hope all of you got a chance to download it and can get inspiration from it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
And thank you, audience.